Hello, lovelies. Cory here. Welcome back to Wilder Woman. Please excuse the mess behind me. October is basically the start in our household of gathering items for Christmas, gifts. We have a ton of birthdays in November, so you'll notice there's a ton of stuff behind me with sticky notes everywhere, which basically on the sticky notes are written names of who these things belong to or will be gifted to. So yeah, my office is a hot mess right now. There's even more stuff behind my chair that you can't see. So we're in like full-blown gifting mode right now, even before Halloween comes up. But I did want to pop on here really quick and record some videos and have some chats. We haven't talked about tarot in a hot minute on this channel. And so I wanted to share with you some of the decks I've been working with this season. You know, we're in the throes of fall. We've gone well past the autumn equinox. If you're in the northern hemisphere, if you're in the southern hemisphere, spring is in full swing. But I want to talk about more of the darker decks that I have, more shadowy decks, decks that I've been working with that are more of a darker flavor, but then also throwing in some fun witchy vibe decks that I've also been working with. October is really kind of the month for me to revisit a lot of witchy movies. The Disney Channel has been live streaming Halloween Town like nonstop, and like my childhood, my inner child is just like, whenever October rolls around, Halloween movies are always my jam, especially family ones. I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, but I've been rewatching the original Sabrina the Teenage Witch on Netflix, and it's like giving me life right now. So just to share with you guys what's been going on in the Gunn household. Anyway, let's dive into some of these decks, yeah? The first one that I've been working with, and it's one that I don't work with a lot at all, except this time of year, because it's such a dark deck. And there's a full unboxing of this on my channel, so I won't go into it too much, but it is the Ludy Lescot Tarot. Okay? This one is super vampiric, dark, very Halloween vibe. Just energetically super dark. And so, you know, it's one that for this type of year, for me, it's got like an adult Vampire Diaries vibe. I don't know if that made sense. I guess, to be fair, it has more of an Anne Rice vibe. There we go. That was way more appropriate. You know, I just see Vampire Chronicles, you know, vibes throughout this deck, the imagery. It's really macabre. And I like it. I enjoy it. The Ten of Swords is a really hard one for me to deal with. So it's also a good one for shadow work, for sure. But like I said, I have a full-blown walkthrough on my channel. You can go check that out if you want to see all of the cards in this deck. But yeah, this is one that I typically pull out this time of year, usually around September, all the way through the end of October, and just kind of work with that. Another one, this one, oh my God, you guys, I was at one point posted this to trade it or sell it off, and no one ended up picking it up from me. It's an out-of-print indie deck. This is the Disciples Tarot. And I decided that was a sign that I needed to keep it, and I'm freaking glad that I did, because you guys, this deck is just, it's magic. So this is a collage deck, photorealistic deck, and normally, I've mentioned on this channel before, I kind of have a hard time with those. I don't know. I think because of all of the skulls, and just the energy of this deck, just the vibe that it gives off. I really like it. I enjoy it. So I've been playing with this one a lot, trying, you know, a few different, look at that 10 of swords. This one gets me. And the face and the moon, like, oh, there are just some fantastic spot-on cards in this deck. So I've been playing around with different Samhain spreads with this one, and have been getting some really great results. So love this one. If you can find somebody that's trading it, because this is out of print, I would recommend it. Okay, because this one is a solid deck. The next one, and again, I did an unboxing of this one on my channel, the Marigold Tarot, you guys. This one has been sitting on my altar for a solid month now. I love it. This deck, you guys, is just freaking phenomenal. I love it. It is stunning. Just fan-freaking-tastic. So, again, unlike pip decks where the, you know, the minor arcana isn't completely illustrated. And I mean, these ones are illustrated, but what I mean is the illustrations are for, like, example, this is the 5 of Wands. Okay, we have 5 flower stalks, right? Ordinarily, that's kind of rough for me because I also pick up on the imagery for intuitive messages. I really rely on that in addition to traditional meanings. But I'm not bothered by this card. I feel like, by this deck, I feel like I get a ton of intuitive hits in addition to traditional meanings, even with, you know, the minor arcana illustrated the way that they are. Let's find another pip here. Look at in this tower, you guys. The moon, man. That bat skull. Ugh. No. I keep always saying it's a bat. It's a dog. What the hell is wrong with me? Like this one, 7 of Cups. I still get that feeling of choice, you know? I still feel that there's a lot to draw from, even though I'm looking at 7 skulls, if that makes sense. So, love this deck. Have been working with it as for daily draws specifically, and have had really, really spot on messages from this deck every time. It has not let me down. This one will always hold a special place in my heart. It is not particularly dark at all. It's just very esoteric. This one is also out of print, y'all. Sorry. This is the first edition Spirit Keepers Tarot, and I have the second edition as well. I do not know if there will be a third edition, but you can still, if you go to benabelwen.com, Benabel's website, you can download materials for the Spirit Keepers Tarot, and I think there's even images that she offers for free of the cards so that you can download, print them out, color them, still work with them even if you do not have a deck. So this deck, it is just mind-blowing from the time that I watched Benabel start to create this deck. It's phenomenal. If you do not know who Benabel Wen is or are familiar with her work, I highly, highly, highly recommend going and checking her out. She's fan-freaking-tastic, and this is such a deep esoteric deck for me. You know, if I'm doing more spiritual readings, more, you know, cult-based spiritual practice readings, this is what I go to. This is like my deck. And I feel like the first edition Spirit Keepers Tarot is fantastic for the second half of the year, you know, the waning half, the darker half of the year, whereas the second edition, the Vitruvian edition, that's more sepia in tone, feels more spring and summer to me than the original, you know, first edition black and white. So that's how I've been using them, you know, this past year. So I switched out the Vitruvian and pulled out the first edition after Mebon. So love this deck. Oh my gosh. Obsessed, you guys, just obsessed. Now, this next one, I also have a walkthrough of this on my channel somewhere. Angelarium, Oracle of Emanations. There is another Oracle deck coming out from this creator, and I want it. So this one's kind of an odd deck. There are so many people I've talked to that are like, I don't like it. I don't resonate with it. I like the artwork, but it's weird. It's weird. I'll give you that. Here's the back. But my gosh, you guys, just the artwork gets me. It just gets me. And these, you know, angel interpretations are really interesting. So for me, this one is another very esoteric, you know, very occult deck, you know, at least to work with and connect with. But I mean, look at that. It's just such powerful imagery that I can't not work with it. And my camera's just like not doing these cards any justice. Like in person, the shading and the color is just like perfect. And like I said, I'm in love with this deck. I like using it. I know I'm kind of the odd person out as far as, you know, it goes with having that opinion. But if you like really weird occult shit, like working with angels, you know, Enochian mysteries, and don't mind exploring maybe the darker side of angelic work, and going outside the traditional images that we have of angels, I really recommend checking this deck out. Even if you just Google the imagery, look at the unboxing that I did. I mean, I don't know. I really like this guy and will continue to work with it. So I had to pull this one out for Halloween, for sure. The next one, I'm trying to remember if I did a walkthrough on this one or not. I'll look it up. But this is the Bonefire Tarot. This was a giveaway gift from the fantastic and lovely Ethany Dawn. Adore her. She is the fearless leader of the Awakened Soul Coven, of which I am a part of. And this deck had been on my wish list for ages, when, ironically enough, I won the giveaway. It's like the only giveaway I've ever won, and I'm freaking glad it was a tarot deck, and this tarot deck to boot. Because these cards, you guys, are just freaking amazing. And this is like my tattoo, badass, you know, Halloween-esque deck. And I'm obsessed with the art style. I mean, look at that High Priestess. What? And I just love that there's, you know, fiery bones in each and every card. So, of course, like I had to pull this one out. Because to me, this deck screams super fun Halloween. It just does. So there was no way I wasn't working with it. in the month of October. Now, the last like dark deck that I have to work with is a more recent acquisition, and I did not do an unboxing of this one on my channel because I was laid up at the time that I got it, and I couldn't really sit down and film. And that is the True Black Tarot. This deck, you guys, is unlike any other deck I have ever owned in my life. The artist hand-edged the deck before sending it out to all of us. And the cardstock is super thick. There's UV black spotting on the back and the front of these cards, you guys. And of course, my camera cannot do this justice. Like, these cards are freaking gorgeous. They're just stunning. And look at how thick that card is. Like, no joke. This is like 400 GSM. Like, this is hardcore, like, cardstock. I cannot ruffle shuffle this thing. And this deck, you guys, it's just freaking stunning. In person, it is to die for. It's just freaking phenomenal. I cannot get over it. This is one of the most beautiful decks I own, and I own almost 300 decks. So that's saying something. And I'm so glad that I got this one. Where is the devil card? Because that card, I have to show you that card. If I can find it. But just like, here's the world too. Like that UV spotting. Like, look at that. It is freaking stunning. The job that the artist did on the stack. Oh, this is an extra card. Just beautiful, beyond beautiful. And like I said, they're so thick. Sometimes I'm like, am I picking up 2 cards or 1? Like, what is happening here? So this one, I've also been using in more, you know, shadowy type readings. Because even though the artwork is very minimal, there's just so much to grab there. Oh, gorgeous, you guys. There's just so much to see. Like, look at this moon card. Beautiful, you guys. Absolutely stunning. If you have an opportunity to get this deck, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. Even if you're just like an art collector. That 3 of Hearts. Fantastic. Like, this is one to own and just, I don't know, even keep in the box. Of course not. At least not for me. I have to like work with them. 100% for sure. The only bummer is the High Priestess card did kind of like get a little goofy in the printing. You see the kind of shadow casting there on the bottom, but I don't mind. Look at that UV spotting. That's supposed to look like that, but the white residue that you see at the bottom, that white casting, isn't supposed to be there. So that's kind of the bummer. This Temperance card. Look at that. Here it is, this Devil card, you guys. This is one of the reasons why I needed this deck. Look at that card. Google this image because stunning. Frickin' stunning. I don't have any other words to describe this deck other than stunning. So, True Black Tarot. And I have a feeling this is one that I'm probably going to continue to work with past Halloween, because this really is like a fantastic shadow working deck. It hits you in the face. It does not pull punches. And there are layers to every card. The depth that the artist was able to achieve with minimalistic art is, I mean, it's minimalistic and maximalistic at the same time, because the images are so detailed. So much attention was put into every single piece of these images, the cards. This was a painstaking process. I mean, those of us who backed the Kickstarter campaign watched the craziness that the artist went through, going through, at the end. I think there were 3 different printers, 2 different, UV spotters. It was a bit of a nightmare, but the artist wanted perfection, and they delivered. They 100% delivered. There's no other deck out there like this one. None. There just isn't. They created something magnificent. This is not just a deck, but a wholly contained work of art. So A++ in that area. Okay, now that I'm done gushing on that, I wanted to talk about or share some fun, just witchy vibe decks. And the first 2 are more recent acquisitions, even though they've been around for a hot minute. The tarot has, the Oracle is new, and that is Deborah Blake's Everyday Witch Oracle and Everyday Witch Tarot. The tarot's out of the box because it has been my client working deck for the last month and a half. If you've gotten a reading from me, you might have seen this deck. Maybe. Half of them were pretty much done with this deck, of the readings that I've done over the last 6 weeks. Yes. I love this deck. It is just so fun. It is so lighthearted, but very, very, witchy. And I love it. I love it. This is a great all ages deck. It is a great new to tarot deck, I feel like. It is just, it's so cute. And how can you resist that back? There are cats everywhere. If you guys know anything about Deborah, she's a cat mom. And if you follow her on Twitter and on Patreon, she's been posting pictures of the kittens that she had been fostering for the last few weeks. Freaking adorable. And the little girl she's keeping, Diana. Oh, so we're going to get to see more pictures of her, along with all of her other amazing kitties. So follow her if you're not already following her, okay? She's written dozens of books on witchcraft over the years, some of which are my favorite. Everyday Witchcraft is a staple that everyone should have in their collection, honestly. And one of the great things about that book is that it has a lot of great tidbits to really give you some inspiration on little things that you can do every single day to bring magic into the mundane, into your everyday life. Just really build an everyday practice where you're not doing full-blown rituals every single day, but little pieces of magic here and there. That book is just perfect for that. Okay, so Everyday Witch Oracle. This one's fantastic. I love the larger oracle card size. Oh, and this one's even more magical than the tarot deck, which I didn't think was possible. But some of the imagery is just like, look at that. Oh, I love it. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. I was hoping this one would pop up. Gratitude. It makes me smile every time. Okay, I'm done gushing. But if you're looking for something not quite so dark, but a little bit more witchy, highly recommend these two. So that was the Everyday Witch Tarot, Everyday Witch Oracle. Solid decks year round, but you know, during Halloween season, Samhain season, like, we like to dial up the witchiness, don't we? This next one, Book of Shadows Tarot, I have volume 2 as So Below. Volume 1 is As Above, and I like this one because it's more down to earth. It's also infusing witchy into mundane activities, which I freaking love. And it's like a very fall colored deck too. The Pentacle suit gets me too. I love it. I can't garden to save my life, but I love seeing the cards. So just a beautiful all around awesome deck. What I love about this is that, so like looking at the pentacles, we see the same individual grow through the knave, which is their name for page, through king, right? So we have our 2 pentacle cards here. I'm going to try and grab the other 2 just to kind of show you what I mean. So we watch one person evolve through the 4 phases, and I think that's perfect because to me, court cards, when they come up and they do indicate a person, don't indicate gender in my readings. At least that's not how I read them. To me, it indicates more active or receptive energies of the person, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to find that last Pentacles card here. Sorry, guys. But I really kind of want to share this with you because I love it. Okay, how'd I pass you? What happened? So I'm missing the Queen. And I'm sure that's just because I walked right past it. Somewhere in here. And man, High Priestess. Blah, blah, blah. Queen, where are you, my queen? Queen, 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 queen. How's everybody doing today anyway? It has been a hell of a week for me. What? Okay, now I'm kind of annoyed. That's because that was the card I already showed you. Duh. All right, so we start off with Knave of Pentacles, okay, and we have this individual here on a laptop. I love the little gnomes of the suit. Like, I love that. So you can almost think of it as land spirits around, helping them really, you know, start to build, learn. Then we have Knight. Same individual here. Again, working with the land spirits, you know, researching in this one and then putting into practice, right? And then the Queen, right? We have the same individual, Okay, moving up, expanding until we get to see them in their king phase. So, I mean, honestly, I love that so much. Like, it's one of my favorite things about this deck is seeing that evolution, and all of the court cards are like this. So, like, huge plus for me. And this is just a really, really well-drawn deck, in my opinion. So that was Book of Shadows Tarot, Volume 2. Another really fun one is the Magick and Mediums Oracle deck. I like using this one as a kind of what magic could I play around with today? So, for example, you know, shuffling it up, thinking, you know, what would be a good piece of magic for me to work on this week? You know, what would expand my abilities? What would really help me connect with my practice? And we have, ooh, Elemental Magic. Definitely is a good one. So I will be working on that. But we have, like I said, also oracle card meanings behind each of these. This can be used also in a divinatory fashion. So another Kickstarter that I backed. And I love the sepia tones. So this was just, oh, gorgeous deck. And one I definitely use a lot in my craft practice specifically. So if you're looking for kind of a fun one that's maybe halfway between lighthearted witchy and a little bit dark, this is a good one for that. And the last one I want to share with you, oh, this one's so fun. This is another recent acquisition. I got it around the time that I got the True Black Tarot. This was also a Kickstarter backing. And this is the White Hare Wisdom Oracle deck. You guys, this is so freaking cute. Oh. Here are the backs of the deck. I love this. I love animal decks in general. And so we just have a really amazing deck, I think, for a witch's practice. There are cards in here for the new moon, the full moon, for each of the Sabbaths. This one's Mabon. With and just fun witchy activities as well. Ritual, self-belief. There's the full moon. Cleansing. Love. So this is just like a super, super fun, very creative. Again, another all ages deck. I have been trying to keep my daughter's mitts off of this one, but I have a feeling it's going to be one of those decks that I'll lose to her at some point. Having a kid in the house who's also deck obsessed and loves like all of the same cute little animals that you do is really tough. I wish we had different tastes in decks. So there you have it. Some more darker, shadowy decks that I'm working with, some more fun, lighthearted decks that I'm working with, but all very witchy and really in tone for the season, at least for me, and the activities that I like to do this time of year. So I wanted to pop on here and share that with you guys. If you guys have any decks that you would like to recommend, especially for the season, please let me know in the comments. I also have the Marigold Tarot, but honestly, I'm not showing it in this video because I'm not currently working with it. I already feel like I have my arms full with the decks that I am trying to connect with. And at some point, I will be breaking out the Marielle and working with her. I got her in a trade with another person in Tarot Swap Facebook group. I don't remember the exact group, but it was one of those on Facebook. Just, they weren't connecting with it, wanted to unload it. I took it, and it's definitely a deck that I've wanted for a long time and one that I do plan on really working with, but I want to really break it out at a time when I feel like I have time to dedicate just to working and connecting with that deck, because it is so different. It is so out there. I really want to be able to devote a lot of time and attention to it, and don't think now's the right time for me to do that. My attention's really split into a few different areas. I'm really focused on my temple studies and not really having a lot of time for much else. The kids are also in school. We got homework. Oh, like I said, all of the birthdays coming up in November. Oh, the season is October, November, December is just madness for us. Absolute freaking madness, especially in a dual faith household. We have 2 Sabbats in addition to celebrating secular Thanksgiving here in the US, celebrating Christmas on my husband's side of the family. All the birthdays in November, things just get bonkers around here, and I really only have time to devote to tarot in between all of the things, little quick readings here and there for myself, you know, outside of doing client readings when I do have those scheduled. So if you have any other recommendations for me that I can maybe check out next year, leave them in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a fabulous day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, blessed be.